In its 43 years of presenting programs for the public in Pittsburgh, the International Poetry Forum hosted many of the leading actors and actresses of the last half of the 20th century, a few of which you will see and hear in this documentary. Among these were Jose Ferrer, Melvyn Douglas, Michael York, John Houseman, George Grizzard, Julie Harris, Eva Marie Saint, Gregory Peck, Stacy Keach, Peter Ustinov, Danny Glover, James Earl Jones, Brooke Shields, Judith Anderson, Anthony Hopkins, and Ellen Burstyn, to name only the most prominent. Because acting is a profession where the importance of the spoken word is crucial, actors are ideal reciters, whether they are reciting the translations in English of the work of foreign poets or the words of contemporary or deceased poets. They give poems the vitality that they truly deserve. Here, for example, is the distinguished actor of stage and screen Richard Kiley reading a translation of Yevgeny Yevtushenko's signature poem, Babi Yar, followed by Yevtushenko's recital in the original Russian.
No monument stands over Babi Yar. A drop sheer as a crude gravestone. I'm afraid. Today I'm as old in years as all the Jewish people. Now I seem to be a Jew. Here I plod through ancient Egypt. Here I perish crucified on the cross, and to this day I bear the scars of nails. I seem to be Dreyfus. The Philistine is both informer and judge. I am behind bars, beset on every side, hounded, spat on, slandered. Squealing dainty ladies in flounced Brussels lace stick their parasols into my face. I seem to be then a young boy in Bialystok. Blood runs spilling over the floors. The barroom rabble-rousers give off a stench of vodka and onion. A boot kicks me aside, helpless. I plead in vain with these pogrom bullies, while they jeer and shout, "Beat the Yids! Save Russia!" Some grain marketeer rapes my mother. Oh, my Russian people, I know you are international to the core, but those with unclean hands have often made a jingle of your purest name. I know the goodness of my land. How vile these anti-Semites. Without a qualm, they pompously call themselves the Union of the Russian People. I seem to be Anne Frank, transparent as a branch in April, and I'm love, and have no need of phrases. My need is that we gaze into each other. How little we can see or smell. We are denied the leaves, we are denied the sky. Yet we can do so much tenderly embrace each other in a darkened room. They're coming here, be not afraid. Those are the booming sounds of spring. Spring is coming here. Come then to me, quick, give me your lips. Are they smashing down the door? No, it's the ice breaking. The wild grasses rustle over Babi Yar. The trees look ominous like judges. Here all things scream silently. And bearing my head, slowly I feel myself turning gray. I myself am one massive sunless stream above the thousand buried here. I am each old man here shot dead. I am every child here shot dead. Nothing in me shall ever forget. The Internationale let it thunder when the last anti-Semite on earth is buried forever. In my blood there is no Jewish blood. In their callous rage, all anti-Semites must hate me now as a For that reason, I am a true Russian.
Mr. Kiley's intense delivery of the lines seems to carry over when we hear the Russian words of Yevtushenko, so that we seem to understand a great deal, if not all, of the poem in the original without being able to account for it.
Крутой обрыв, как грубое надгробие. Мне страшно, мне сегодня столько лет, как самому еврейскому народу. Мне кажется, сейчас я иудей, вот я приду по древнему Египту, а вот я на кресте распятый гибну. И до сих пор на мне следы гвоздей. Мне кажется, что Дрейфус — это я, мещанство, мой доносчик и судья. Я растерялся, я попал в кольцо, затравленный, оплеванный, оболганный, и дамочки с брюссельскими оборками, визжа зонтами, тычут мне в лицо. Мне кажется, я мальчик в Белостоке. Кровь льется, растекаясь пополам, бесчинствуют вожди трактирной стойки и пахнут водкой с луком пополам. Я сапогом отброшенный, бессилен, напрасно я погромщиков молю под гогот: Меньшинов, спасай Россию! Насилуют лобазник, маму мою. О, русский мой народ, я знаю, ты по сущности интернационален, но часто те, чьи руки нечисты, твоим чистейшим именем прицелят. Я знаю доброту моей земли, как подло, что и жилочкой не дрогнув, антисемиты пышно нарекли себя союзом русского народа. Мне кажется, это Анна Франк, прозрачная, как веточка в апреле. Я люблю, и мне не надо фраз, не надо, чтоб друг друга мы смотрели, как мало можно видеть, обонять. Нельзя нам листьев, и нельзя нам неба, но можно очень много. Это нежно, друг друга в темной комнате обнять. Сюда иду. Не бойся, это губ самой весны, она сюда идет. Иди ко мне, дай мне скорее губы. Ломаю дверь. Нет, это ледоход. Над Бабьим Яром шелест диких трав, деревья смотрят грозно, по-судейски все молча здесь кричит. И шапку сняв, я чувствую, что медленно сидею, и сам я, как сплошной беззвучный крик над тысячами тысяч погребенных, я, каждый здесь расстрелянный старик. Я каждый здесь расстрелянный ребенок. Ничто во мне про это не забудет. Интернационал пусть прогремит, когда навеки похоронен будет последний на земле антисемит. Еврейской крови нет крови моей, но ненавистен злобой заскорузлой я всем антисемитам, как еврей. И потому я настоящий русский.
The first time that James Earl Jones appeared at the forum, he assumed the voice of God in a program drawn from the work of Charles Péguy entitled God Speaks. The second time, he assumed the voice of a black Southern preacher conducting a funeral service. The poem is James Weldon Johnson's Go Down Death.
Weep not, weep not. She is not dead. She is resting in the bosom of Jesus. Heartbroken husband, weep no more. Grief-stricken son, weep no more. She's only just gone home. Day before yesterday morning, God was looking down from his great high heaven, looking down on all his children. And his eye fell on Sister Caroline, tossing in her bed of pain. And God's big heart was touched with pity, with everlasting pity. And God sat back on his throne, and he commanded that tall, bright angel standing at his right hand, call me death. And that tall, bright angel cried in a voice that broke like a clap of thunder, call death. Call death. And the echo bounded down the streets of heaven till it reached way back to that shadowy place where death waits with his pale white horses. And death heard the summons, and he leaped on his fastest horse, pale as a sheet in the moonlight. Up the golden street death galloped, and the hoof of his horse struck fire from the gold, but he didn't make no sound. Up death rode to the great white throne and waited for God's command. And God said, go down, death, go down. Go down to Savannah, Georgia, down in Yamacraw, and find Sister Caroline. She's borne the burden in the heat of the day. She's labored long in my vineyard, and she's tired. She's weary. Go down, death, and bring her to me. And death didn't say a word, but he loosed the reins of his pale white horse, and he clamped the spurs to his bloodless sides, and out and down he rode, through heaven's pearly gates, past suns and moons and stars. On death rode, and the foam from his horse was like a comet in the sky. On death rode, leading the lightning's flash behind. Straight on down he came. While we were watching around her bed, she turned her eyes and looked away. She saw what we couldn't see. She saw old death. She saw old death coming like a falling star. But death didn't frighten Sister Caroline. He looked at her like a welcome friend. And she whispered to us, I'm going home. And she smiled and closed her eyes. And death took her up like a baby, and she lay in his icy arms, but she didn't feel no chill. And death began to ride again, up beyond the evening star, out beyond the morning star, into the glittering light of glory, on to the great white throne. There he laid Sister Caroline on the loving breast of Jesus. And Jesus took his own hand and wiped away her tears, and he smoothed the furrows from her face. And the angels sang a little song, and Jesus rocked her in his arms and kept her saying, "Take your rest, take your rest, take your rest. Weep not, weep not. She is not dead. She is resting in the bosom of Jesus."
The true virtuosity of Brooke Shields as an actress has never really been reflected in her long film career, but as a reciter of poetry, the opposite proved true when she recited bilingually a poem by Jacques Prévert entitled "To Paint the Portrait of a Bird." She supplemented that by saying Naomi Shihab Nye's beautiful poem, "The Art of Disappearing."
Pour faire le portrait d'un oiseau, peindre d'abord une cage avec une porte ouverte, peindre ensuite quelque chose de joli, quelque chose de simple, quelque chose de beau, quelque chose d'utile pour l'oiseau. Placer ensuite la toile contre un arbre, dans un jardin, dans un bois ou dans une forêt. Se cacher derrière l'arbre, sans rien dire, sans bouger. Parfois, l'oiseau arrive vite, mais il peut aussi bien mettre de longues années avant de se décider. Ne pas se décourager, atteindre. Atteindre s'il faut pendant des années. La vitesse ou la lenteur de l'arrivée de l'oiseau n'a aucun rapport avec la réussite du tableau. Quand l'oiseau arrive, s'il arrive, observez le plus profond silence. Atteindre que l'oiseau entre dans la cage. Et quand il est entré, fermez doucement la porte avec le pinceau. Puis, effacez un à un tous les barreaux, en ayant soin de ne toucher aucune des plumes de l'oiseau. Faire ensuite le portrait de l'arbre, en choisissant la plus belle de ses branches pour l'oiseau. Peindre aussi le vert feuillage et la fraîcheur du vent, la poussière du soleil et le bruit des bêtes de l'herbe dans la chaleur de l'été. Et puis, atteindre que l'oiseau se décide à chanter. Si l'oiseau ne chante pas, c'est mauvais signe. Signe que le tableau est mauvais. Mais s'il chante, c'est bon signe. Signe que vous pouvez signer. Alors, vous arrachez tout doucement une des plumes de l'oiseau et vous écrivez votre nom dans un coin du tableau. To paint the portrait of a bird, paint first a cage with an open door. Paint then something pretty, something simple, something handsome, something useful for the bird. Then place the canvas against a tree, in a garden, in a wood, or in a forest. Hide behind the tree silently, motionless. Sometimes the bird arrives at once, or it may also take many years before making up its mind. Do not be discouraged. Wait. Wait. If need be, many years. A speedy or a delayed arrival bears no relation to the success of the portrait. When the bird arrives, if it arrives, observe the most profound silence, Wait until the bird enters the cage, and when it has entered, close the door gently with a stroke of the brush. Then, paint out one by one all the bars of the cage, taking care to touch none of the bird's feathers. Paint then the portrait of a tree, choosing the loveliest of its branches for the bird. Paint too the green foliage and the fresh wind, the dust of the sun and the noise of insects in the grass in the summer heat, and then wait for the bird to sing. If the bird does not sing, it is a bad sign. A sign that the picture is bad. But if it sings, it is a good sign. A sign that you can sign. So you pluck gently then one of the bird's feathers, and you write your name in a corner of the portrait. Here is what Naomi Shihab Nye has to say on the subject in her poem, The Art of Disappearing. When they say, "Don't I know you?" Say no. When they invite you to the party, remember what parties are like before answering. Someone telling you in a loud voice they once wrote a poem, greasy sausage balls on a paper plate. Then reply. If they say we should get together, say, why? It's not that you don't love them anymore. You're trying to remember something too important to forget. Trees. The monastery bell at twilight. Tell them you have a new project. It will never be finished. When someone recognizes you in a grocery store, nod briefly and become a cabbage. When someone you haven't seen in 10 years appears at the door, don't start singing him all your new songs. You will never catch up. Walk around feeling like a leaf. Know you could tumble any second. Then decide what to do with your time.
Nicholas Beale, a pseudonym, is known to the best of my knowledge by a single poem, and a fine actor of stage and screen did it absolute justice when he created Nicholas Beale's version of the Book of Genesis. Here is David Conrad as Adam.
Parody is not the least of the poetic arts. Its virtue is that it often helps us to see with new eyes, whether it tells old stories in new ways, or whether it completely retells them, so that we hear them as if we are hearing them for the first time. Here, for example, is the Book of Genesis, the first few chapters, in a version by Nicholas Beale. Now, according to Beale, Eden is probably located somewhere between Brooklyn and the South Bronx. But I thought for our purposes tonight, we'd put it a little closer to home. On a third day, I was dust. Ordinary common dust like you see on a country road in a dry spell. Nothing expected of me. Me expecting nothing either. On a sixth day, he comes along. In my own image, too, he says, like he was doing me a favor. Now, sometimes I think if he's waited 1,000,000 years, by then I'd have been tired of maybe being dust, but after only 2-3 days, what can you expect? I wasn't used to being even dust. And he goes and makes me into a man. Now, he could see right away from the expression on my face, I didn't like it. So he's going to butter me up. He puts me in this garden, only I don't butter. He brings me all the animals. I should give them names. What do I know of names? Call it something, he says. Anything you like. So I make names up. Lion, tiger, giraffe, elephant. Crazy, but that's what he wants. I mean, I'm naming animals since 5 a.m. In the evening, I'm tired. I go to bed early. And in the morning, I wake up. There she is. Sitting by a pool of water. Admiring herself. Actually, I'm not so pleased. From time immemorial, nothing. Now, rush. 2 days ago, I'm dust. Yesterday, I'm naming animals all day. Today, I got a mate already. Also, I didn't like the way she looked at me, or herself in the water. Well, you know what happened. There were all those fruit trees. I don't have to tell you. She took a bite, I took a bite. The snake took a bite, and quick like a flash, out of the garden. I'm not complaining. After all, it's his garden. He don't want nobody eating his apples. That's his business. What irritates me is the nerve. I didn't ask him to make me even dust. He could have left me nothing like I was before. It's such a fuss for one lousy apple not even ripe. There wasn't that much time for creation. It was still spring. I didn't ask for a mate. I didn't ask for Cain, for Abel. I didn't ask for nothing. But anything goes wrong, who's to blame? Sodom, Gomorrah, Babel, Ararat. Me or my kids catch it. Fire, flood, pillar of salt. Be patient, Eve said. A little understanding, dear. Look, he made it. It was his idea. It breaks down, so he'll fix it. But I told him one day. Yins are in too much of a hurry. In 6 days, you make everything, you expect it all to go smoothly. Something's always going to go wrong. If you'd have thought first, conceived a plan, consulted a specialist, you wouldn't have so much trouble all the time. But you can't tell him nothing. He knows it all.
The All Shakespeare One-Man presentation by Michael York included poems as well as excerpts from the plays. Just as Laurence Olivier's recreation of Henry V aroused the British during the Second World War, Michael York's rousing battle cry had a similar effect on his American audience in Pittsburgh.
In peace, there's nothing so becomes a man as modest stillness and humility, but when the blast of war blows in our ears, then imitate the action of the tiger, stiffen the sinews, conjure up the blood, disguise fair nature with hard-favored rage. Then lend the eye a terrible aspect, let it pry through the portage of the head, let the brow o'erwhelm it as faithfully as doth a galled rock, or hang and jutty his confounded base, swilled with a wild and wasteful ocean. Now, set the teeth, and stretch the nostrils wide, hold hard the breath, and bend up every spirit to his full height. On, you noblest English, whose blood is fed from fathers of war-proof, fathers that, like so many Alexanders, have in these parts from morn till even fought, and sheathed their swords for lack of argument. Dishonor not your mothers. Now attest that those whom you call fathers did beget you. Be copy now to men of grosser blood, and teach them how to war. And you, good yeoman, whose limbs were made in England, show us here the mettle of your pasture. Let us swear that you are worth your breeding, which I doubt not, for there is none of you so mean and base that hath not noble luster in your eyes. I see you stand like greyhounds in the slip, straining upon the start. The game's afoot. Follow your spirit, and upon this charge, cry God for Harry, England, and St. George! Thank you.
In 2007, Queen Noor of Jordan was able to accept my long-standing invitation to present a program entitled Women and Peace, Poetry in Action. In the course of her remarks, she quoted both Palestinian and Israeli mothers whose sons had been killed. The sentiments in the poems were identical. They transcended the political intrigues and wars that doomed opposing families to similar sorrow. The Queen then concluded her program with an ironic poem by Rumi.
In these verses from the Divan-i-Shams, I am neither Christian, nor Jew, nor Gabber, nor Muslim. I am not of the East, nor of the West, nor of the land, nor of the sea. I am not of the imperial, nor of the dust, nor of existence, nor of entity. I am not of India, nor of China, nor of Bulgaria, nor of Sakhin. I am not of the kingdom of Iraqian, nor the country of Khorasan. My place is the placeless. My trace is the traceless. I have put duality away. I have seen that the two worlds are one. Thank you, and God bless you all.
T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland is regarded by many as one of the seminal poems of the 20th century. On the page, Eliot's vision of our spiritual desolation is harrowing enough. But here are Gabriel Woolf and Jill Balkan reciting the first two sections of that poem. Woolf, a consummate British stage actor, and Jill Balkan, the widow of the British critic and poet C.D. Lewis, and the mother of the distinguished actor Daniel Day-Lewis.
The chair she sat in like a burnished throne glowed on the marble, where the glass held up by standards wrought with fruited vines, from which a golden Cupidon peeped out, another hid his eyes behind his wing, doubled the flames of seven-branched candelabra, reflecting light upon the table as the glitter of her jewels rose to meet it, from satin cases poured in rich profusion. In vials of ivory and coloured glass, unstoppered, lurked her strange synthetic perfumes, unguent, powdered or liquid, troubled, confused, and drowned the sense of odours. Stirred by the air that freshened from the window, these ascended in fattening the prolonged candle flames, flung their smoke into the laquieria, stirring the pattern on the coppered ceiling. Huge sea wood fed with copper, burned green and orange, framed by the coloured stone, in which sad light a carved dolphin swam. Above the antique mantle was displayed, as though a window gave upon the sylvan scene, the change of Philomel, by the barbarous king so rudely forced. Yet there the nightingale filled all the deserts with inviolable voice, and still she cried, and still the world pursues, jug, jug, to dirty ears. And other withered stumps of time were told upon the walls. Staring forms leaned out, leaning, hushing the room enclosed. Footsteps shuffled on the stair. Under the firelight, under the brush, her hair spread out in fiery points, glowed into words, then would be savagely still.
My nerves are bad tonight, yes, bad. Stay with me, speak to me. Why do you never speak? Speak. What are you thinking of? What thinking? What? I never know what you are thinking. Think.
I think we are in Rat's Alley where the dead men lost their bones.
What is that noise?
The wind under the door.
What is that noise now? What is the wind doing?
Nothing. Again, nothing.
Do you know nothing? Do you see nothing? Do you remember nothing?
I remember those are pearls that were his eyes.
Are you alive or not? Is there nothing in your head?
But oh, that Shakespearean rag, it's so elegant, so intelligent.
What shall I do now? What shall I do? I shall rush out as I am and walk the street with my hair down, so. What shall we do tomorrow? What shall we ever do?
The hot water at 10, and if it rains, a closed car at 4, and we shall play a game of chess, pressing lidless eyes and waiting for a knock upon the door.
When Lil's husband got demobbed, I didn't mince my words. I said to her myself,
Hurry up, please, it's time.
now Albert's coming back, make yourself a bit smart. He'll want to know what you've done with that money he gave you to get yourself some teeth. He did, I was there. You have them all out, Lil, and get a nice set, he said, I swear. I can't bear to look at you. And no more can't I said, and think of poor Albert. He's been in the army 4 years, he wants a good time. And if you don't give it him, there's others will, I said. Oh, is there, she said, something of that, I said. Then I'll know who to thank, she said, and give me a straight look.
Hurry up, please, it's time.
If you don't like it, you can get on with it, I said. Others can pick and choose if you can't. But if Albert makes off, it won't be for lack of telling. You ought to be ashamed, I said, to look so antique, and her only 31. I can't help it, she said, pulling a long face. It's them pills I took to bring it off, she said. She's had 5 already, and nearly died of young George. The chemist said it would be all right, but I've never been the same. You are a proper fool, I said. Where? If Albert won't leave you alone, there it is, I said. What do you get married for if you don't want children?
Hurry up, please, it's time.
Well, that Sunday Albert was home. They had a hot gown, and they asked me in to dinner to get the beauty of it hot.
Hurry up, please, it's time. Hurry up, please, it's time.
Good night, Bill. Good night, Lou. Good night, May. Good night. Ta-ta. Good night. Good night. Good night, ladies. Good night, sweet ladies. Good night. Good night.
The Welsh actor Bob Kingdom recreated the person and poetry of his fellow Welshman Dylan Thomas so completely that his physical resemblance to Thomas and the way he recited the poems made possible a perfect suspension of disbelief.
And death shall have no dominion. Dead men naked, they shall be one with the man in the wind and the west moon. When their bones are picked clean and the clean bones gone, they shall have stars at elbow and foot. Though they go mad, they shall be sane. Though they sink through the sea, they shall rise again. Though lovers be lost, love shall not, and death shall have no dominion. And death shall have no dominion. Under the windings of the sea, they lying long shall not die windily, twisting on wrecks when sinews give way. Strapped to a wheel, yet they shall not break. Faith in their hands shall snap in two, and the unicorn evils run them through. Split all ends up, they shan't crack, and death shall have no dominion. And death shall have no dominion. No more may gulls cry at their ears, or waves break loud on the seashores. Where blew a flower may flower no more, lift its head to the blows of the rain. though they be mad and dead as nails, heads of the characters hammer through daisies, break in the sun till the sun breaks down, and death shall have no dominion.
One of the high points of the Forum's second decade was the appearance of Princess Grace of Monaco. This was actually her first appearance in America by this Academy Award-winning actress since her marriage in 1954, as well, we found out, as her first visit to Pittsburgh. She later returned for a second program and became an honorary member of the International Poetry Forum's board. One of the most moving poems in her program was her reading of Louis Simpson's beautiful poem entitled Redwoods.
The Redwoods by Louis Simpson. Mountains are moving, rivers are hurrying, but we are still. We have the thoughts of giants, clouds, and at night the stars. And we have names, guttural, grotesque, hummet, ugh, names with no syllables, and perish one by one, our roots gnawed by the mice, and fall, and are too slow for death and turn to stone, or else too quick, like candles in a fire. Giants are lonely. We have waited long for someone. By our waiting, surely there must be someone at whose touch our boughs would bend, and hands to gather us. A spirit to whom we are as light as the hawthorn tree. Oh, if there be a poet, let him come now. We stand at the Pacific like great unmarried girls, turning in our heads the stars and the clouds, considering whom to please.
When Danny Glover appeared at the Forum, he had just finished a film in which he impersonated Nelson Mandela, and this commanded both national and international attention. So he took the occasion to devote the entire program to the poetry of Langston Hughes, and the highlight was the permanently relevant poem of Hughes entitled, "When Will America Be America Again?"
Let America be America again. Let America be America again. Let it be the dream it used to be. Let it be the pioneer on the plains seeking a home where he himself is free. America never was America to me. Let America be the dream, the dreamer's dream. Let it be that great, strong land of love where never kings connive a tyrant scheme, that any man be crushed by one above. It never was America to me. Oh, let my land be a land where liberty is crowned with no false patriotic wreath, but opportunity is real and life is free, equality in the air we breathe. There's never been equality for me, no freedom in this homeland of the free. Say, who are you that mumbles in the dark, and who are you that draws your veil across the stars? I am the poor white, fooled and pushed apart. I am the Negro bearing slavery scars. I am the red man driven from the land. I am the immigrant clutching the hope I seek and finding only the same old stupid plan of dog eat dog, of mighty crush the weak. I am the young man full of strength and hope, tangled in that ancient endless chain of profit, power, gain, of grab the land, of grab the gold, of grab the ways of satisfying need, of work the men, of take the pay, of owning everything for one's own greed. I am the farmer, bondsman to the soul. I am the worker, soul to the machine. I am the Negro servant to you all. I am the people, hungry, humble, mean. Hungry, yet today, despite the dream, beaten yet today, oh pioneer. I am the man who never got ahead, the poorest worker, bartered through the years. Yet I'm the one who dreamt our basic dream in that old world while still a serf of kings, who dreamt the dream so strong, so brave, so true, that even yet its mighty daring sings in every break and stone, in every furrow turn, that's made America the land it has become. Oh, I'm the man who sailed those early seas in search of what I meant to be my home. For I'm the one who left dark Ireland's shore and Poland's plains and England's grassy lea, and tore from black Africa's strand. I came to build a homeland of the free. The free? Who says the free? Not me. Surely not me, the millions on relief today, the millions shot down when we strike, the millions who have nothing for our pay, for all the dreams we dreamed, and all the songs we sung, and all the hopes we held, and all the flags we hung. The millions who have nothing for our pay except the dream that's almost dead today. Oh, let America be America again. The land that never has been yet, and yet must be. The land where every man is free. The land that's mine, the poor man, Indians, Negroes, me. Who made America? Whose sweat and blood, whose faith and pain, whose hand on the foundry, whose plow in the rain, must bring back our mighty dream again. Sure, call me ugly name, any ugly name you choose. The steel of freedom does not stain. From those who live like leeches on the people's lives, we must take back our land again. America! Oh yes, I say it plain, America never was America to me, and yet I swear this oath, America will be. Out of the rack and ruin of our gangster death, the rape and rot of graft and stealth and lies, we the people must redeem the land, the mines, the plants, the rivers, the mountains and endless plains, all the stretch of these great green states, and make America again.
Although D.H. Lawrence's reputation as a writer rests primarily on his work as a novelist, Ellen Burstyn, having discovered and become enamored of his poetry over the years, spent a captivating evening by enhancing Lawrence's stature as a poet with poems like the following two.
Figs. The proper way to eat a fig in society is to split it in four, holding it by the stump, and open it so that it is a glittering, rosy, moist, honeyed, heavy-petaled, four-petaled flower. Then you throw away the skin, which is just like a four-sepaled calyx, after you have taken off the blossom with your lips. But the vulgar way is just to put your mouth to the crack and take out the flesh in one bite. Every fruit has its secret. The fig is a very secretive fruit. As you see it standing, growing, you feel at once it is symbolic and it seems male. But when you come to know it better, you agree with the Romans, it is female. The Italians vulgarly say it stands for the female part, the fig fruit, the fissure, the yoni, the wonderful moist conductivity toward the center. Involved, interned, the flowering all inward and womb fibrilled, and but one orifice. The fig, the horseshoe, the squash blossom, symbols. There was a flower that flowered inward, wombward. Now there is a fruit like a ripe womb. It was always a secret. That's how it should be. The female should always be secret. There never was any standing aloft and unfolded on a bough like other flowers in a revelation of petals, silver pink peach, Venetian green glass of medlars and sorbapples, shallow wine cups on short bulging stems, openly pledging heaven. Here's to the thorn and flower, here's to the utterance, the brave, adventurous Rosakai. Folded upon itself, and secret, unutterable, and milky sapped, sap that curdles milk and makes ricotta, sap that smells strange on your fingers, that even goats won't taste it, folded upon itself, enclosed like any Mohammedan woman, its nakedness all within walls, its flowering forever unseen. One small way of access only, and this close curtained from the light. Fig, fruit of the female mystery, covert and inward, Mediterranean fruit with your covert nakedness, where everything happens invisible, flowering and fertilization and fruiting in the inwardness of your you that I will never see, till it's finished and you're overripe and you burst to give up your ghost, till the drop of ripeness exudes and the year is over. And then the fig has kept her secret long enough so it explodes, and you see through the fissure the scarlet, and the fig is finished. The year is over. That's how the fig dies, showing her crimson through the purple slit like a wound, the exposure of her secret on the open day, like a prostitute, the bursten fig, making a show of her secret. That's how women die too. The year is fallen over ripe, the year of our women. The year of our women is fallen over ripe. The secret is laid bare, and rottenness soon sets in. The year of our women is fallen over ripe. When Eve once knew in her mind that she was naked, she quickly sewed fig leaves and sewed the same for the man. She had been naked all her days before, but till then, till that apple of knowledge, she hadn't had the fact on her mind. She got the fact on her mind and quickly sewed fig leaves, and women have been sewing ever since. And now they stitch to adorn the bursten fig, not to cover it. They have their nakedness more than ever on their mind, and they won't let us forget it. Now the secret becomes an affirmation through moist, scarlet lips that laugh at the Lord's indignation. What then, good Lord, cry the women, we have kept our secret long enough. We are a ripe fig. Let us burst into affirmation. They forget. Ripe figs won't keep. Ripe figs won't keep. Honey, white figs of the north, black figs with scarlet inside of the south. Ripe figs won't keep in any clime. What then when women the world over have all bursten into affirmation, and bursten figs won't keep? Has anybody ever heard the word bursten before? I mean, really. I looked it up. It's not even in the dictionary. Fidelity and love are two different things, like a flower and a gem. And love, like a flower, will fade, will change into something else, or it would not be flowery. Oh, flowers that fade because they are moving swiftly, a little torrent of life leaps up to the summit of the stem, gleams, turns over round the bend of the parabola of curved flight, sinks, and is gone, like a comet curving into the invisible. Oh, flowers They are all the time traveling like comets, and they come into our ken for a day, for 2 days, and withdraw, slowly vanish again. And we must take them on the wing and let them go. Embalmed flowers are not flowers. Immortelles are not flowers. Flowers are just a motion, a swift motion, a colored gesture. That is their loveliness, and that is love. But a gem is different. It lasts so much longer than we do, so much, 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 much longer that it seems to last forever. Yet we know it is flowing away as flowers are, and we are, only slower. The wonderful, slow flowing of the sapphire. All flows, and every flow is related to every other flow. Flowers and sapphires and us, diversely streaming. In the old days, when sapphires were breathed upon and brought forth during the wild orgasms of chaos, time was much slower when the rocks came forth. It took eons to make a sapphire, eons for it to pass away. And a flower, it takes a summer. And man and woman are like the earth that brings forth flowers in summer and love, but underneath is rock. Older than flowers, older than ferns, older than foraminiferae, older than plasm altogether is the soul of a man underneath. And when throughout all the wild orgasms of love slowly a gem forms in the ancient, once more molten rocks of two human hearts, two ancient rocks, a man's heart and a woman's, that is the crystal of peace, the slow, hard jewel of trust, the sapphire of fidelity, the gem of mutual peace emerging from the wild chaos of love.
Whether recited by authors or actors, the heard poem mints a memory that lasts within us like a song. All we have to do is listen to make it ours. This documentary is made possible by grants from the McCune Foundation, the estate of the late Thomas J. Donnelly, and a private grant from Dr. Joseph Maroon.